Broncos, who says his team is playing hard. He can't fault that, but they've not been able to hold leads. The Broncos in their 5 losses have led all 5 of those games at halftime, only to lose it in the second half. San Diego has won the toss, and the Chargers will receive to start the game. Nate Lewis is back, number 81. He ran back a punt 63 yards for a touchdown at Seattle last Sunday. David Treadwell is into the ball now for the Broncos as it spins downfield, and here comes Nate Lewis from the 6. A quick burst, and he is out to the 20-yard line as the Broncos, with that good special teams coverage all year, come down and provide the same. As we now look at the offensive blocking unit of San Diego, absolutely huge. Floyd, Courtney Hall, rookie Frank Cornish at center, David Richards and Thompson. Billy Joe Tolliver, the second-year player, starts at quarterback. Harmon, the runner. Arthur Cox, a huge tight end. Anthony Miller, an absolutely sensational wide receiver. Butts will play today. On some passing downs, he'll come in with Greg McEwen. They'll also work as a power set. They run a lot of different things in the Henning offense, basically the Washington Redskin offense, where Henning came from. And here is Tolliver with a quick throw over the middle. And connection is out to the 25-yard line. Ronnie Harmon coming out of the backfield is good for a 5-yard gain.
Billy Joe just putting his helmet on. You can see Simon Fletcher at the top of the screen is going to come inside on a limbo, and he's not picked up. Going to come right into the chin of Tolliver. Take a look at the shot he takes. Looks like he decapitated him. Hope that's not an ominous start for Tolliver.
Lost his head early in the game, so Billy Joe Tolliver ready to go again at second down and a long 5. Gibbs straight up the middle, and Ronnie Harmon runs with the ball. He is taken down on the play. In the middle of the line is, we look now at the Denver Broncos defense. Warren Powers, Greg Cragen, Ron Holmes, the defensive front. Fletcher with 8 sacks, 4 last week. Mark Munford, Michael Brooks, and you see Mecklenburg wearing 97. They forgot to pack his jersey, his regular number 77. So the Pro Bowler, Kyle Mecklenburg, wearing 97 today for the Broncos. And they go to their Tiger offense with extra, or their Tiger defense with extra defensive backs to see the people that come in. Right now it is third down and about a yard for San Diego. Opening drive. Howard football. Atwater comes in like a battering ram, but it didn't look like he was able to throw Harmon back in time. Ronnie Harmon crossed the 30 and appears to have a first down for San Diego.
This is going to affect their offense if Ronnie Harmon is going to be the big back. As you mentioned at the outset, he's given away some 50 pounds. And the thinking, of course, of San Diego is that they want to run the ball first and run the ball first and run the ball first. 85% of their first down plays have been runs throughout the season with Ronnie Harmon. I think that's going to alter their strategy, Don.
Good point, Todd. And the critical area for Denver has been first down. The Broncos have allowed their opposition 5.8 yards on the average on first down. So it's been an expensive down for the Bronco defense. Now the Chargers with a first down, and Tolliver with a quick drop. Checks people out, and he overthrows Miller. Anthony Miller, who's headed for all-pro status this year, but it's too high for even Miller. And there's also a marker down on the play.
It looked like he had plenty of time, and that's the reason somebody got caught for holding.
Johnny Greer is our referee. Sound like 88. Arthur Cox, the tight end. Dan Henning, talking about his team yesterday, says, basically, we like it big on offense. Big linemen, big tight ends, big backs, power football. We have no ref's mic right now. Problem with the ref's mic. So we'll pick it up as best we can. Now it is first down and 20 for San Diego. Cox comes in motion. And that's where they're running behind big Arthur Cox, but not for very much. Ronnie Harmon is cut down at the 21-yard line. Virtually no gain on the play. Michael Brooks, who's been a sensational inside backer for Denver, made the tackle, along with Alton Montgomery.
You know, Don, Michael Brooks last week had 12 tackles against the Minnesota Vikings. He was the one that switched with Mecklenburg, going from the outside to the inside. And as their defensive coordinator Phillips was telling us yesterday, no one goes better sideline to sideline than Michael Brooks. Not only that, he's so strong, he's tough to block as well.
He was the guy that Bill Arnsparger, when he was at LSU, said was the best linebacker he'd ever seen in college. He underwent major knee surgery. Now he appears to be back in that peak form. Took him a few years.
Says a lot for a guy that coached the no-name defense of the Dolphins in the 70s.
Oliver dumps it off and hits an offensive lineman. We'll see if they call an intentional ground. They do not. Might be in the grasp. Ronnie Harmon was coming out of the backfield. He threw it in his general direction, but the Broncos, who really generated a rush in recent weeks, get one here.
Don, they went on the blitz with Dennis Smith, and they didn't have him accounted for on the screen. And right here you can see he comes untouched, and he's just trying to get rid of the ball. I was watching Johnny Greer as well to see if he might call intentional grounding, because you could see 49 is going to come from the left of your screen. There he throws it right into the back of Broderick Thompson, I believe. And as a result, he got away with one there.
But he still has a long yardage play. Third down comes up. Third down and 19. Darren Nelson's in the game now. He swings out of the backfield. Tolliver takes a look. Goes to Nelson at the 30. And the former Stanford All-American is knocked down very close to the 32-yard line, but way short of a first down. It was a gain of 10 on the play. It brings up fourth and almost 10. And the Chargers have to punt the ball. John Kidd is their punter.
Don, that was a field position play. People at home are saying to themselves, well, they only picked up a couple of yards there. They didn't even get close to the first down, but that was really a field position. They knew they weren't going to get all 19 yards. They just wanted to get 10 back so they could give Kidd a little more room to punt.
Kevin Clark is back deep now for Denver. He's been terrific since they picked him up. He's the return man as Kidd hits the ball very well downfield, and here is Clark at his 23. Into the top to 30. And Clark, as a penalty marker comes in, gets out to about the 33-yard line. A 45-yard punt and a 10-yard return, but a marker down.
46 yards on the punt. Penalty flag on the line.
Penalty stopping the clock with 10:59 to play in the first quarter. No score. And calls an illegal block against the Broncos.
Right there you can see that Lyles catches it in the back, and that's what the officials saw. Interestingly enough, when introduced at the beginning of the game, they introduced the San Diego special teams, who are #1 in the league in special teams, and ironically, Denver is #2.
Yeah, two terrific special teams on either side, and now we have a break in the action. San Diego ready to go on defense when we come back. Special teams for the San Diego Chargers. He was with the New York Jets. This year, the Chargers have kicked off 42 times, and the average starting spot for the opposing offense has been the 19-yard line, which is absolutely extraordinary. And he said, Pat, another main goal of their special teams is not to get their kick returners hit hard. They don't take a hard shot. There's a very good chance they'll get big yardage. You've got to block off those tacklers. Handoff on first down to Bobby Humphrey. He's only been terrific for Denver. As we check now the starting offense of the Denver Broncos: Perry, Jariga, Karts, Wydell, and Lanier. Elway at quarterback. Humphrey and Mel Bratton are his runners. Vance Johnson and Mark Jackson. They've, between them, caught 64 passes. Extra receivers come in Teal and Michael Young. Clarence Kay, the starting tight end. So Elway with the handoff to Bobby Humphrey. The Broncos get 4 on first down, 2nd and 6. Humphrey again. Power run straight up the middle. He comes in. He's the second leading rusher in the AFC. 665 yards, averaging 5 yards a carry.
Gain of 2 yards.
Chargers on defense. This group has 29 sacks. And then San Diego's only given up 11 sacks. Lee Williams, Les Miller, Burt Grossman, second-year player, has 8 sacks already. Rolling, Plummer, Seo. The outside backer, Leslie O'Neal, he has 7.5 sacks. There's the defensive secondary: Bird, Seal, Glenn, Bayless. Extra people in Shelton, Frank, and Elder on passing downs. On 3rd and 4, Broncos go to the run. And Bobby Humphrey does the job with a delayed trap. He comes right up the middle and takes it ahead for a gain of 11 yards and a first down.
Don, Steve Sewell is out of this game. He separated his shoulder lifting weights during the week, and as a result, instead of him being in on 3rd down, Bobby Humphrey is going to have to stay in. It's a simple delay, and as a result of having 5 defensive backs in the field, they have nobody in the middle. Dan Reeves told us yesterday, he said, we absolutely have to run on these people. We can't fall behind and let them get into their pass rush.
And so far, Broncos have not put the ball up. They've been running well. No score, first quarter. Elway Knocked it out in the flat. He gets Clarence Kay, his tight end, and he works hard to get close to a 10-yard gain on first down. Billy Ray Smith knocked him out of bounds as we check the 10-minute ticker. Miami Dolphins moved to 8-1 with a win over the Jets today. Buffalo, which has been an overwhelming team the last 7 weeks, wins its 7th game in a row, burying Phoenix. Bears up on Atlanta. Indianapolis has defeated New England in a game some thought nobody would win. Minnesota over Detroit. And the L.A. Raiders are out in front of the Packers at the Los Angeles Coliseum. 2nd and 1 play call for John Elway. To the run to Humphrey. He darts outside and gets to the 48-yard line. Bert Grossman, 92, was on the stop for the Chargers.
Good job on the outside by Clarence Kay and enabling the hole for Bobby Humphrey there on the left side. The offensive line of the Broncos has been much maligned because of the fact that Elway has gotten hurt, but they've done an outstanding job. I mean, Humphrey isn't second in the NFL for nothing.
Well, he's been just sensational, Bobby Humphrey. He gets the ball virtually all the time in their running game. Sammy Winder also out today, as is Steve Sewell, so the bigger load than ever. It falls on Bobby Humphrey, and he gets it again. Great change of pace move. There was nothing there, and still he got ahead for almost 4 yards. Grossman again was the #1 tackler. Bobby Humphrey, the 1989 NFL Rookie of the Year. Considered by some teams a medical gamble because of the broken foot he suffered twice at the University of Alabama. Denver had him checked out and then checked out again and then checked out 4 and 5 times by different physicians. They all said go with him. But you know, been great.
I was going to say, Don, that really wasn't that much of a gamble. They have not had a 1,000-yard rusher since Otis Armstrong, so they weren't taking that much of a chance. They really needed a runner.
Really turned their offense around to a balanced offense in this quick pass game. Here's Elway. Quick throw and a connection. But the defense is there to get Bobby Humphrey. Junior Seau, the rookie from Southern California, one of the top players picked in the first round. They think he's going to be a Pro Bowl player for years to come.
Well, they spent $5 million on him. He better. I think it's interesting that they find him in pass coverage right here. He makes a nice tackle, but they're bringing him out on 3rd downs, which surprises me. This is a man, Don, who in his senior year at USC had 19 sacks and 34 pressures in only 10 games. And so to play him in the middle and to take him out on 3rd down just doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's some numbers. Now on 3rd down and almost 5. Elway from the gun. Bills the fastball, makes the connection. Ricky Nattiel's down at the 35-yard line. And they'll spot him at the 34. Anthony Shelton, extra defensive back, was covering. But Elway, who hasn't lost any pop on that high, hard one, drills it right on Nattiel's numbers. Only his 10th catch.
Nattiel's able to find the gap in the zone, and as you mentioned, you called it a fastball, and that's exactly right. I thought it interesting when he came into the league, he threw the ball so hard that the receivers came and complained to Dan Reeves about it, and Dan Reeves says, hey, we're paying this guy $1 million a year. You're the ones that are going to have to adjust, not Elway.
He's going to be here. We'll get guys in that can catch it.
I honestly think, Don, that a lot of the guys wear the gloves just for that reason, because of the fact that he throws the ball so hard, not just because they're sticky.
Probably do. A good play fake by John Elway, and bad foot and all. He's off on the run, throws on the run, and makes the connection. Beautifully executed offense by Mark Jackson. Comes down with the ball for an 11-yard gain.
Mark Jackson probably didn't have his feet in bounds, but what the ref is going to say is that the push out of bounds enabled him. They would have said he would have had him down anyway. There's nobody on that side of the ball. Great play fake, and there it is right there. It looked to me like his left foot might have been out of bounds anyway. Broncos got a break. He looks back there, does a good job of getting Bird coming back into his back pedal. Now watch the catch. Watch his left foot. Would it have come down anyway? I don't think so. But that's a judgment call. That's a judgment call on the part of the official. He felt it would have, so a break for the Broncos.
And on the snap of the ball, it was history because there's no replay now. And here is the handoff straight ahead to Humphrey. He's thrown back. Bobby Humphrey is caught by the nose tackle Les Miller, 69.
Very interesting that he was forced out, but you know, it's interesting that John Elway got his club up very quickly. If you notice, he didn't take very long in the huddle because there's no way he wanted the officials to get down to the booth. And I've noticed that throughout the NFL, quarterbacks have done a good job when a controversial play goes their way of getting their people up to the line of scrimmage as quickly as possible so they can't get it back to the booth.
Yeah, once the ball is snapped on the next play, the play is official. There's no recourse. And now on 2nd down and 10, a spread formation out of the gun for Denver. Broncos driving in this scoreless first quarter. Here's the big rush. Swing pass goes to Humphrey. Bobby Humphries cut down some excellent defense by the Chargers. Donald Frank, number 27. First-year player from Winston-Salem who's done a big job since coming in. Was the extra man who made the stop.
Good run support. You can see Bobby Humphrey cutting underneath and going on a swing route off to the side. Bert Grossman sees it, but a little too late. But good run support there by Frank. A lot of times at the cornerback position, you get a one-dimensional player. You're able to get somebody who can cover people downfield and have some speed, or a tough guy who comes up and supports the run. It's very difficult to have a hybrid at that position. Donald Frank did a good job right there.
Denver has won 6 of the last 7 against the Chargers, but the last time they met last December here, the Chargers won 1916. Elway to the end zone, open man, touchdown. Vance Johnson. So the Broncos come out on their opening drive and look like a Super Bowl team, despite their off performances in the recent weeks. Elway 6 for 6 on that drive for 56 yards and a score.
Right there, we were talking about Donald Frank and run support. He gets totally fooled by the corner move of Vance Johnson. John Elway had all the time in the world. He's able to lay it up right in the corner, and Vance Johnson was uncontested. An easy score for the Broncos.
Elway is 9-4 in his career as a starter against San Diego. The extra point is knocked up and good by David Treadwell.
It just feels right.
And back to live action. Here is the Broncos kickoff. Nate Lewis picks it up after dropping it, and he gets across the 15 and out to the 20-yard line. So very good special teams play by the Broncos covering. Todd?
Donald Frank does a no-no right here. One of a big rookie mistake is looking into the backfield. Take a look at his eyes. He'll look into the backfield, and at the snap of the ball, Vance Johnson is gone. He has the man right here, and he doesn't know where to go. It's just too late. Look at that 10-yard gap. That's easy pickings for Elway.
The Chargers started off this year 1-3. Their coach, Dan Henning, was under the gun. Now they've come back to win 3 of their last 4 by dominating margins. They've beaten Tampa Bay, the Jets, and Seattle by an average margin of 28 points. Here's a throw, not much there, and Harmon takes it for a short gain. As we check the scoreboard again, the 10-minute ticker. Billy Joe Tolliver says the thing he has to concentrate on is patience. I want to get it done all at once, but you can't do that in this league. Miami and Buffalo remain tied in the AFC East. They're both now 8-1. Chicago looking strong over Atlanta. Indianapolis the victor. Minnesota takes Detroit, so the Lions go into a slump. The Giants up on the Rams in the first quarter, and the Raiders now with a 7-3 lead after Green Bay just kicked a field goal. On 2nd and 7, Harmon looks for room to run and finds some, and Ronnie Harmon breaks into open field. A former #1 draft choice of the Buffalo Bills. Came here as a plan B, and he breaks a 38-yard gain.
Don, if Ronnie Harmon had that extra gear, he would have been gone. He picked up a terrific downfield block by Anthony Miller that sprung him, and if Steve Atwater doesn't make the tackle at the end, he goes the distance. Straight cutback. Everybody over pursues right here. You'll see the official get in the way of Dennis Smith. Now watch the cut right here, past Montgomery. Anthony Miller out ahead, cuts his man down. Now he's gone unless Steve Atwater is able to get him by the nape of the neck. Terrific run by Ronnie Harmon, and a great job downfield by Anthony Miller.
And a 38-yard gain for the Chargers, who trailed Denver 7-0 here in the first quarter. Oliver with a lot of time, but no one to go to. Now he swings it out to his tight end, Derek Walker. And that big guy's down to the 36-yard line. A rookie out of Michigan, Derek Walker, a 6th-round draft choice. Big. They're all big up front for the Chargers.
Part of the problem with having the 2 tight end offense is it limits you downfield. They only have 2 people in the secondary, and that's why Billy Joe can't find anybody open. This is strictly a dump off. Walker was actually in there blocking, and his man left him, and so he just went out in the flat. That was a play that wasn't exactly called. He wasn't the one that was supposed to get the ball in that situation.
Denver has had a problem defending the pass. They're 13th out of 14 teams in the AFC on pass defense. The opposition is completing 61% against Denver. Now Tolliver falls on his own fumble, a misconnection with his center, rookie Frank Cornish. Big draft choice from UCLA. That brings up now 3rd down.
Well, this is only Billy Joe Tolliver's 18th start, and people keep complaining about some of the rookie mistakes that he has made. He's 22nd in the league in that complicated, if you can figure it out, tell me how, Don, pass rating efficiency, and he's still less than 50% on the season.
Well, not coincidentally, Todd, as you know, in winning 3 of their last 4 games, a big reason Tolliver has not thrown an interception in those 4 games. He's plus on touchdowns, interceptions, 10 TD passes, 8 interceptions. Here is a throw to the truly great Anthony Miller. He is a great player from Tennessee. His 36th catch of the year, averaging over 16 yards a catch. 5 times he's been in the end zone.
Anthony Miller is the cog in the passing game for the San Diego Chargers, but on this play, give credit to the offensive line. They did a great job, particularly on the ends in Mecklenburg and Fletcher. Tolliver's able to stay there all day. Now watch McEwen make the block right here. He doesn't have the first down, and without McEwen's blocking that situation on Elliott Smith, he doesn't get it. So a big first down for the Chargers.
This game could be high scoring. Denver, in losing 4 of its last 5, has allowed 30 points a game in those losses. 7-0 Denver, but the Chargers going for the equalizer. Miller fell down, and he's pointing out that he was pushed, but there's no flag, and Tolliver's running downfield to protest.
The official that has to make that call is cleared deep in the end zone, and you're right. Billy Joe wants that call. Anthony Miller had him beat to the post corner, and as he cut back, his feet, I suppose, sort of got caught in. Watch Wyman Henderson right here. He's going to the corner here. There's a chuck right there, and that's okay. But right there, that's too far downfield. That's well past 5 yards. He's got a legitimate complaint in that situation on Steve Atwater. You think Billy Joe isn't a competitor? Watch this. Doesn't he remind you a little bit of Billy Kilmer?
Yeah, he does. That's a very good analogy. He's a terrific kid, a very vibrant, upbeat kid. The players love being around him. He's going to be a good one. Out of Texas Tech. Throw in the flat. The big tight end. Walker gets it. He's heading on in. Derek Walker is up down at the 4. Just short of the end zone. Looking for his first NFL touchdown.
Okay, Tom, we were complaining a little bit about in the 2 tight end offense. What happens is you don't have people downfield. But what happens defensively is you start to take it for granted. And what you do is you'll put a middle linebacker man for man on the tight end. Here, Michael Brooks has him out in the flat, and he's got plenty of room. Look at that, a little burst of speed, and Brooks is left. That's 250 pounds running downfield, and that's a lot of momentum that gets him to the 3-yard line.
So the Broncos, with textbook execution, took it through Dan Henning's defense on their opening sequence to score. Touchdown throw. John Elway making the connection to Vance Johnson, and now here is a handoff up the middle to Ronnie Harmon as the Chargers try to come back down and answer that scoring drive.
4 seconds, play is over.
And that's going to do it for the first quarter of play. So Billy Joe Tolliver and his Chargers are down close and perhaps ready to go in when we come right back in it after that spectacular opening drive by John Elway and the Denver Broncos. Big upset today at Kansas City, where Seattle took the Chiefs, scoring on a last-second play, a David Craig touchdown throw. 17-16 Seahawks.
Don, in that game, I saw that Derek Thomas had 7 sacks.
That's a career for most. 2nd down and goal now for the Chargers. Hand off to Harmon. He weaves down close, but he's thrown back. Good D by the Broncos. That was Michael Brooks, that sensational inside backer from LSU.
Don, Marion Butts must be hurt more than we realize.
Yeah.
This would be a situation where he'd have to be in. Michael Brooks over the top here. Ronnie Harmon right here wants to jump, and Michael Brooks catches him in midair. You know, that's not a good idea. I see running backs do that all the time, and the minute you leave your feet, you got no power in your legs.
There is Marion Butts, perhaps the greatest 7th-round draft choice in history, out of Florida State, where he's a blocking back for Sammy Smith of the Dolphins. Comes into the NFL. In his 2nd year, he leads the league in rushing. But hurt today. Our set, 3rd and goal from just over 2 yards out. Play fake, swing pass, too much on it. They had a eligible play for normally a linebacker. Gary Plummer has been doing some blocking on offense. He reported eligible, and Tolliver went to him. And now they have to send out the field goal unit.
This is kind of a timing play. Billy Joe really didn't have that much of a rush, and there's Plummer wide open. All he has to do is lay it out there, and it's just a little bit too far. That's a bit much to ask to make a catch like that from the linebacker position to go to tight end. Still and all, though, he was wide open, and Billy Joe just needed to take a little bit off, and they'd have had a touchdown.
Carney has been hitting him real regularly. He kicked for a national championship team at Notre Dame. John Carney, he was a Plan B acquisition. They've made some very good ones here in San Diego. He's hit 9 of 10 field goals and now makes it 10 out of 11. So the Chargers don't get the TD, but they do get 3. And San Diego will kick off. Hampered today. Thigh bruise, a long kickoff. They'll not bring it out. Even Kevin Clark will run him back from our clocks. 10-minute ticker. The Giants on a field goal up on the Rams at Anaheim 3-0 now in the second quarter. Marcus Allen has scored twice for the Raiders today as they lead Green Bay 13-6 in the second quarter at the LA Coliseum. The Raiders, leaders of the AFC West, with a 6-2 mark heading into play today. Denver with the ball and a 7-3 lead in the second quarter. Elway took him down the field and threw to Vance Johnson for a touchdown on the Broncos' opening drive. Comes a marker in from the umpire. Could be a hold on Denver.
That's a great job by Junior Seau. They had him on the outside on that play. He knifed in and really ruined it right from the beginning.
Dan Reeves trimmed down and looking good. Says the biggest problem we've had this year, we haven't handled adversity well, which has been a hallmark. He said in the past, our teams, when they got a lead, were very tough to catch. He said this year we haven't been able to hold leads.
They also talked about the fact that he might not be coaching much longer. They might be heading upstairs. Take a look at Seau.
I don't think he said that. I think that's the...
Well, when we talked to him, he said that he wanted to coach to the year 2000.
Right. I think he wants to stay with it, but somebody wrote an article that he might want to move upstairs, but he sounded like a guy that planned to stay with it. Back in a moment for the Broncos at their 26-yard line. Humphrey out to the 31-yard line. He does not have blazing speed when you put the clock on him in the 40, Bobby Humphrey, but he just has a remarkable ability to make people miss, and he's strong enough to break tackles.
John, that's one of the most overrated statistics, I think, in football. The game is a 10, 15, 20-yard game, and as you say, lateral movement is the thing. Bobby Humphrey, with good vision, cuts right back inside here, and if he doesn't collide right there with Waddell, he might get bigger yardage. He does a great job, as you mentioned, of making people miss and being able to get yards that aren't there.
And he can carry it a lot, as he's been doing today, as Humphrey comes on a slant. Gets the ball out close to the 34-yard line. Knocked down by inside backer Gary Plummer.
Humphrey actually breaks the rule. We talked with Dan Henning yesterday, and he said, as you mentioned, about the big players. He likes the big backs because those are the people that can carry the ball a lot and don't get worn down. In the case of Humphrey, you're only talking about a 200, 205-pound back. Yet last year, he was still able to carry nearly 300 times in a season. So that kind of refutes that theory, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's durable. He reminds you a little bit of Marcus Allen of the Raiders. Upright runner, very shifty, can take a pounding. 3rd down and 3 from the 33 for Denver. To the draw, and Bobby Humphrey breaks it, looking to bounce to the outside. He gets to the 41-yard line.
Far be it from me to be overly critical, Don, but that's the exact same play that they got the 3rd down on in the first series. They went with the draw play to Humphrey, and he was able to find the opening. Henry Rawling has to have him man for man, but there Waddell gets off and is able to shield him, and right there, that's enough for the 1st down. Humphrey sees the opening and gets it.
Big Lee Williams is on the tackle along with Vincey Glenn. Now we go to 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line of Denver. Broncos lead at 7-3 second quarter. Blitz doesn't get there. Bayless came on a blitz for strong safety. They swing it out to Humphrey. Cut down after a gain of 3. Junior Seau. Man, he can fly for a guy 245 pounds.
Right when I said the 40 time is overrated, you see there's no replacement for speed. Seau runs him down. This should have been a lot bigger play. When you blitz the strong safety and you have a screen pass going, you should be able to get something out of it. Look at the pursuit. Look at Seau completely on the other side of the field backpedaling. Now watch him come across the top of your screen. He's clear from the other side now. You're going to see 55 fly in here and make the play on Humphrey. That should have been a lot bigger play than 3 yards, but Seau shows some serious speed.
Junior gets those arms built up a little bit. He's going to be good.
The Charles Ellis course is paying off, huh?
Pumping that iron. Marker down on 2nd down throw by Elway. Incomplete. 2 markers down at the line of scrimmage. Vance Johnson, who caught the touchdown pass, his second TD reception of the year in the opening drive for Denver, was the intended receiver. Donnie Elder was defending.
Looked like they might have been in the neutral zone.
That's it. The call against San Diego. We apologize. We have a problem with the ref's mic on the field. Normally, he can give you the number of the party who committed the offense. Sounded like it was 98, which would be Robinson of the Chargers. Gerald Robinson.
Take a look at Elway, though. He rolled out fairly well. It didn't look like he was limping. It appears that whatever job they did taping and putting in the arch support is being effective right here, because he didn't look like he was limping too much at all.
I saw him at the hotel this morning, Todd. He was walking, and he had a little bit of a limp. He was just favoring a little bit, but he had a big smile on his face.
Oh, he's limping for theater. It's for effect. Come on, Don.
You're setting people up. That's all.
Right.
John Elway comes in hitting 57% of his passes this season. Lofts one out, and Clarence Kay cannot run under it. On 2nd down and 2.
Once again, they came with a safety blitz. Bayless coming from the backside, and Elway just trying to get rid of it. I find that interesting this early in the game, because it might be an admittance on the part of Ron Lynn that maybe their standard defensive set is not doing the job, as witnessed by, as we mentioned, the first series, Elway going 6 for 6.
Now, as you see, for the day, he's 7 of 8 for 59 yards and a TD.
From the backside comes Bayless. You can see right there, and he can feel it. He gets rid of it right away. He knows that he doesn't have anything going, and that's the savvy of the veteran quarterback.
3rd down and 2. Humphrey gets the ball, and he is thrown down. The Chargers shoot the gap. Henry rolling outside backer 57, who's been starting while Billy Ray Smith has been injured, makes the play.
Gerald Robinson created that play, though, Don. He bumps in there, and Gerald Robinson held his ground. Finally, 3rd time is a charm. Twice before on 3rd and 2 and 3, they got the first down. Robinson plugs it up, and Rolling picks up the debris.
Rolling has a degree in engineering. He'd say one of his greatest attributes is his smarts. He doesn't miss a beat. Doesn't miss a look. Now the punt hits down and goes into the end zone. It'll come out on a touchback. Mike Moran hitting it. A 54-yard punt, 20 coming off to the net yardage, making it 34. With Todd Christensen, this is Don Crickey back at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. Chargers ready to throw on 1st down, and Billy Joe Tolliver airs it out. Too much for everybody. Going for Anthony Miller. The coverage was good. Cornerback Wyman Henderson was the man nearest to the ball. Marion Butts is now in the game, running from scrimmage.
Why wasn't he in the game on the goal line then? If he's good enough to play right now, if he's healthy enough to play on your own 20-yard line, why not have your 250-pounder down there on the 2-yard line to put him in for the end zone?
He just got sick again, or his leg went bad. He's coming out. He's been in and out. It's a condition of very deep thigh bruise, and they're afraid if he takes a hard shot on, it's going to tighten up, and he could be out for an extended period. But he has been in sporadically. Tolliver now on 2nd down and 10. 7-3 Broncos. Out pattern. McEwen makes the reception. Free agent from Utah. Was a Washington Redskin. As we check the 10-minute ticker. Miami and Buffalo victors today. Seattle upsetting the Chiefs at Kansas City in the last second play. The Bears win over Atlanta. Indianapolis beats New England. Minnesota a winner at Detroit. And New Orleans blew out Tampa Bay. Giants leading, as are the Raiders. Dan Henning says of his Chargers, we're an AFC team with an NFC mentality. And I said, what does that mean? He said, it means to win, the number one thing you do is run with big people. Now they run with a 200-pound back on 3rd down, and he's cut down. Next they go to Marion Butts for the first time. It's a fake. So Butts is cut down short. Mark Mumford made the stop on Butts.
This is all well and good to get him his carries, but not on 3rd and 5. You've got to throw on 3rd and 5, and Marion Butts is tough, but that's a little bit too much to ask for in your first carry. They should have integrated him into the offense much earlier in the game to see how his thigh is, not on a 3rd and 5.
We'll see how much more they go to Marion Butts as John Kidd, who hit it 46 yards. His first punt, is ready to punt again for the Chargers. Downfield, Kevin Clark waits for it, takes it, and pays. He is popped immediately. Frank got him. Donald Frank hit him, number 27. Another 46-yard punt by John Kidd. So the Denver Broncos send their offense back out with it.
The special teams coach is telling Kevin Clark, listen, if you can't get it up the field, don't let it keep bouncing. If he lets this ball go, it could roll down to the 10-yard line. He sacrifices his body for the good of the team.
Never let a punt drop. Made the play, no fair catch, so he took a full hit. 1st and 10 now for Elway and the Broncos. First down throw, and it's a completion, or is it a drop? They're going to rule it's a completion, good for a gain of almost 5 yards. Bobby Humphrey coming out of the backfield. He now, Todd, has been involved in 15 of 20 offensive plays for Denver.
That was awfully closer. It looked like it might have got through his hands on the ground, but no, he got his hands under it. He just wasn't sure, but that's why he went to his knees to make sure that he had the ball secured.
Man definitely does good work. Bobby Humphrey.
Let's see, 15 of 20, 5 times, that's 75%, right?
Yep.
They're going to review what we just saw, but I don't think they're going to overturn it. His hands were underneath the ball. The reason he dropped to his knees, it appears to everybody that because the way he dropped to his knees and he was uncomfortable, he didn't have it, but he was just trying to secure it. It's not bobbled there at all. He lands on his elbows. The ball is secure in his hands. It's a 4-yard gain.
Dan Reeves was not happy with the instant replay at Minneapolis.
Completed catch, 2nd down.
Mark Jackson caught one in the end zone, which would have extended the Broncos' lead to 23-0. But it was ruled the ball wasn't in, and they went to the 1-yard line and didn't get it in. Mel Bratton was stopped. Humphrey on 2nd down, breaks it. Bobby Humphrey into open field, and there's a marker down.
And a little bit of a fight starting, too. I think Plummer's complaining about being held, or it might be a personal foul.
Might be against San Diego. I think the play might go. No, it's against Denver. The Bronco got some misinformation because a couple of Broncos were cheering and pointing at San Diego, and Coach Reeves wants an explanation.
I think the complaint that Plummer had might have been a crackback block. He might have caught it in the back, and he doesn't appreciate that. You know, at the top right there, you
Definitely.
can see that's a chop block from the back right there. Keith Karts catches him in the back, and you know that's why he's so upset. You know, on NFL Live today, that was one of the things that was the complaint of Bruce Smith and Jim Jeffcoat, is that the Jets were doing this purposely, that they were chop blocking. And believe me, the players out there do not take too kindly to that, because that's the sort of thing that can end your career. Whether it was conscious or not by Karts, that has to be called.
That's been a continuing problem with opposition complaining about the Jets' form of pass blocking. They're using their tight end, Mark Boyer. And against the Bills, on replay, he very vividly dove at the knees of Bruce Smith when Smith was not over him. You can't block him like that when he's not over the tight end. If he's over the tackle, you can't block him low. Elway lets it fly, and the Teal goes up. He was out of bounds, but he caught the ball. No catch. It was out of bounds, but he came down with it. It was a moral victory of sorts. That was impressive, even though it doesn't go.
That was a nice job by Donald Frank, too. Earlier, after making a mental mistake and costing him a touchdown, he stays right with Ricky Nattiel. Now, this is the time when you look. The ball is in the air. You know where it is. He's going to phase Ricky Nattiel out. He knows where he is on the field right there. Even if Nattiel makes the catch, he knows he's way out of bounds. Good job in coverage by Donald Frank, and as you mentioned, Elway showing the mobility that has made him effective in the pass. His strength is not as a drop-back passer. His strength is making things happen spontaneously, breaking plays, and doing the unexpected.
On 3rd down, they get stuffed. Blake Ezor comes in, trying to run a sweep. And shooting through is Henry Rowling.
Don, you mentioned Rawling. You know, you're talking about his degree in engineering. He has now had to fight out Billy Ray Smith to get beat out for that position.
Punt downfield. There's a marker down as Curran hit it from his end zone 46 yards downfield. Curran booms one.
They're going to call roughing the kicker, Don.
This will be, I think it might be running into the kicker, which would not be enough.
Does Horan put on an act here? Take a look. Right there, he's stopped. That's an act. I can't believe that. Give that man a Golden Globe. There's no reason for that to be called. That's ticky-tack. Take a look to the side. You can see that the man eases up right here in the middle. Lyles eases up. He's not trying to block him. Look at that.
Number 24 defense is declined. First down.
This is an act by Horan. Right up the middle. Now, is he blatantly trying to get him? Absolutely not. Total flop. Luganis would be proud of that.
When we come back, the Chargers will have the ball at their 45 line. Marion Butts is the setback. Cox comes in motion, a 270-pound tight end running a pattern. Oliver airs it out again. He's got an open man, but too much on it. Nate Lewis, a rookie from Oregon Tech, had about 3 steps on the defender, but Billy Joe couldn't bring it in on time.
Well, this is where he's got to go. He wants to attack Alton Montgomery, who struggled last week against Carter. He takes a shot from Ron Holmes from the back, but again, he had plenty of time. You know, a young quarterback wants to make the throws too perfect. When you've got the guy that wide open, go ahead and throw it end over end. Just get it out there. Give him a chance.
Going to that deep passing game, there's been a very interesting contrast in the current San Diego team as opposed to the Air Coryell teams of the 80s. They used to score 40 points a game, oftentimes lose by 3 when they did. Here is Butts in the open field. Look at this man at 248 pounds. Blasting people away and taking it to the 10.
Explain to me why this man has not been in the game.
They were saving him.
Just for that?
46 yards.
Well, you know, Marion Butts isn't just a one-dimensional runner. You see him cut to the outside. Now, take a look at the stiff arm right here he puts on Dennis Smith. Dennis Smith is 6'3", 210 pounds. He's no wimp. And Simon Fletcher showed some hustle to get him out of bounds, and he's disappointed himself. He wanted to go the distance.
Butts has scored 6 touchdowns. Now he's trying for a 7th as he rockets into the Denver defense and down to the 8-yard line. Michael Brooks, 56, was the first to get him. Mumford also on the tackle.
So what magic elixir did he get in the first quarter that makes him play all of a sudden?
All I can figure, Todd, is they probably wanted to see if, when he ran on it a few times, if it tightened up on him. Obviously, it did not.
That's the longest run he's had this season.
And he's close to 800 yards rushing this season. 773 yards rushing this season for Marion Butts at 248 pounds. The most yardage in the NFL running the ball. On second down, Tolliver goes to his tight end. Here comes Walker. He's down close, but he's not in.
Oh, no. He put the ball across the goal line. I've seen that call a touchdown a million times. He knew that Alton Montgomery wasn't going to stop him. Here's 250-plus pounds and 6'5", and the cornerback at about 190 trying to come up and stop Walker. He extends himself. I thought they were going to give it to him. Take a look. Nice job there. Is he down? Good call. It was a good call. He was down on his left elbow.
All right. Years past, the Raiders weren't above rolling it into the end zone, were they, when they were?
You're right.
Whatever's fair.
Watch, he's down. Right there, he's down. Then he puts the ball over. Good call by the official.
Chargers, 3rd down and goal inside the 2. They trail by 4 points in the second quarter. Butts, penalty marker. Butts fights his way in, but does it go?
Boy, he just knocked Steve Atwater over. Steve Atwater, one of, if not the best tackling safety. Look at Butts, he's frustrated. Said motion offense, it didn't tell us what it is. A lot of times what happens in the goal line situations, Don, is that a tackle will come in at tight end and forget to tell the official.
Illegal motion, 88, offense. Still 3rd down.
Well, Arthur Cox at number 88 is certainly an eligible receiver. You can see he's not very happy with himself. He must have been moving on the line of scrimmage. One of the things that happens that the official needs to note, though, is that a tight end can move a little bit. Unlike offensive linemen, he can flinch and get away with it as long as he gets back in time. And a lot of times the official will just throw the flag and assume that because he's in the line, they got to call it. Now they're forced into a passing situation.
McEwen goes out wide to the right. Miller in motion. He's their ace. Tolliver takes a look. Looking at Miller. Guns it into the end zone. It's tipped away. McEwen was the man who was intended. But the ball is slapped down, and Alt Montgomery, a first-year player from Houston, knocks it back.
Well, Alt Montgomery has been a safety. That's what they drafted him as, and as a result of the injuries in the secondary, they've had to play him at corner. He's just roving in this situation. He's not playing a man. He's playing zone. He's reading the eyes of Tolliver. He gets up right there and bats it down. Smith had McEwen in coverage. He got his baptism of fire last week against Anthony Carter to the tune of something like 160 yards.
Yeah, Carter caught the game winner against him. 23-yard field goal now by Carney. And he is good again, 2 for 2 for the day. John Carney is 11 of 12 for the season. And it's a 7-6 game. 4 minutes and 2 seconds to play in the first half of Arizona. But the Fiesta Bowl conceivably could be moved to this stadium, San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. There will be a Fiesta Bowl, but the site is not definite. Both the Orange Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl will be here on NBC Sports as Kevin Clark runs it back for Denver. Lakes it across the 25 and out to the 29-yard line. Richard Brown was down to make the tackle number 90. Giants have extended their lead to 10-0 over the Rams. Green Bay got another field goal and now trails the Raiders 13-9 at Los Angeles.
Ball returned to the 30-yard line. First down, Broncos.
Elway is everything to the Denver offense. He's been hot. They've won. He was sensational against the Vikings. 8 of 10 passes, 88 yards and a touchdown. Then came the injury, and the Broncos subsequently fell apart. Here's a throw and a catch. And on the run is Vance Johnson, weaving his way inside the 30 and down to the 29. A 41-yard gain. Elway to Johnson.
They came with a strong safety blitz once again by Martin Bayless, and they left them in man-for-man coverage. And Vance Johnson with the corner route does a good job of losing him, but it's going to come back anyway. Dan Reeves doesn't like the call, obviously.
Coach Reeves taking it hard. I don't blame him.
Offense, number 32. Still first down.
Mel Bratton got called. Was that, who is it? 72, Keith Karts. It was not Mel Bratton. We're having a problem, as we've mentioned. We apologize for it with the referee's mic. Watch the upper part.
Oh, he tackled him. That's right. It was Mel Bratton.
It was Mel Bratton. It was the... So Mel Bratton is called for it. And the play comes back. A 41-yard pass play negated its 1st and 20. Humphrey caught high and knocked back by Leslie O'Neal. And the lads start up after the play again.
It's Gary Plummer in the middle of it, and I wonder if he caught it in the legs again. You know, Leslie O'Neal on that tackle, I thought it interesting. Last week we were talking about the sack people, and certainly Leslie O'Neal is second to Burt Grossman in sacks, but Dan Reeves told us yesterday this is their best pass rusher. He also plays the run pretty well, as you can tell right there, neck-tying down Humphrey. He has 7.5 sacks. Grossman complained about the fact that he said one of those half sacks should have gone to him, and he said he'd have it changed by Thursday, but he didn't.
I've got some impressive sack numbers. 29 for the team coming in. O'Neal with 7.5. Lee Williams, who's had the most sacks in the American Conference over the last 5 years, with 5, and Burt Grossman with 8. Just his second year. Back to Humphrey. Billy Ray Smith stays home and gets him. They got 3rd and long.
San Diego trying to preserve the timeouts here, wanting to get a chance to score and make them punt.
Humphrey continues to get a lot of work. 13 carries for 42 yards for Denver.
Collateral. The same thing that Bernard King had in basketball that took him 2 years to come back from. Leslie O'Neal, it took him 1.5 years, and last year he was selected to the Pro Bowl. One of the great comeback stories in the National Football League.
Tough cowboy from Stillwater from Oklahoma State. Elway lets it go long. Underneath the ball is Young, and it's almost picked up by Frank as Young protests vehemently that he was interfered with.
A little bit of a collision down there, but it's kind of ticky-tack. I think Frank did a good job. Young looking back. Now he comes back over his other shoulder. Now watch Frank come into the picture. Is that interference? Very, very close. I think it was a good call, and actually a good thing that Frank didn't intercept it, because that would have been as good as a punt.
And here is the punt as we go back to live action. Nate Lewis takes it inside his 30, and that's where he ends up. Shannon Sharp with good coverage, number 81 for the Broncos, a 45-yard punt and a -4-yard return. So that special teams as good as you can do it.
And more tackles like that, and Shannon Sharp will no longer be referred to as Sterling's little brother. He's not littler anyway. He's 225 pounds.
His brother, of course, the Pro Bowl receiver for the Green Bay Packers, who at the moment are battling the Raiders at Los Angeles. Los Angeles Raiders leading the Green Bay Packers 13-9 in the second quarter.
Larry Pasquale told me yesterday that last week when Nate Lewis brought it back 63 yards for a touchdown, his special teams now are much more into the game because they now know that they have a guy that can go the distance.
Here's the late scores. As you see, Green Bay has now gone up on the Raiders 16-13. Giants continue to lead the Rams at Anaheim 10-0. Here in San Diego, the Chargers with the ball trailing Denver 7-6 in the second quarter. 2:17 to play in it. Oliver dumps it off. He was looking deep, and Harmon might have heard Mumford's footsteps. Big backer from Nebraska, Mark Mumford.
You know, the last time I had San Diego here, I received some letters from people who felt that I was too critical of Billy Joe Tolliver and his background, coming from a town of only 900. What I meant to say by that was the fact that, yes, there are people that can come out of small burgs and be successful in the National League and come out of his particular college, but it's difficult. If you're not used to the urban situation, the pressures that come with big-time football in high school, because nowadays, hey, guys are McDonald's All-Americans when they're 14, 15 years of age. It's that much more difficult with only his 18th NFL start. He's not going to have the savvy of a veteran who's been around a lot of years.
Now the play is stopped on penalty marker. Now the Chargers with 2nd and 15 yards from their 23-yard line. Billy Joe drops. Here comes the rush. He gets a screen off, and Arthur Cox is on the run. He's a load to stop. Didn't get the first down. He's about 2 yards short of it with third down coming up. A 13-yard gain. And we're down to 2 minutes to play, and Billy Joe comes over for some counsel from Coach Henning. They've agreed to play in the Orange Bowl New Year's Day night. They should be 1-2 as of tomorrow, but whether that'll hold up, you don't know in this crazy season. Here's a throw to Nate Lewis, that quick rookie. And on third down, Billy Joe delivers a first down pass to Lewis.
There's the rookie enthusiasm. Look at how fast he sprints back. He's got to go clear to the other side of the line of scrimmage in their hurry-up offense.
Oliver goes on a draw to Harmon, weaving his way into the Denver secondary. Ronnie Harmon is down to the 49-yard line.
Much like Bobby Humphrey, you mentioned, this guy doesn't have the great 40 speed. He's maybe a 4.7, 4.8 guy, but he does have some sweet feet. He makes some people miss.
A top talent. The Bills picked him number 1 out of the University of Iowa 5 years ago. On second and a long 3, Oliver drips it over the middle to McEwen, and he can't hold the ball. That stops the clock. 1:11 to play in the first half. Denver leads San Diego 7-6.
One of the things I don't understand that the Chargers are not doing is isolating Anthony Miller on the other side to Alton Montgomery. You mentioned the problems that Montgomery has had. He's not a normal cornerback. He's got him on the other side against Wyman Henderson. He just throws out in the middle. He's lucky he got that one back. McEwen wasn't looking.
Our producer today for NBC Sports is Terry Ewert. Our director, Andy Rosenberg. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. With San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium, the Chargers on their home field. Winners of 3 of their last 4, trailing by a point. All-out blitz, a throw and a catch for a first down. Well done by Tolliver and the pass blockers who picked up the Bronco blitz.
It's a nice catch by McEwen out there. That's a ball that could have easily been dropped, but he hung on despite the shot he took.
7 yards.
First half clock winding down to 50 seconds to play. Chargers looking to get at least into field goal position. Lofted ball downfield. Darren Nelson, and it's almost picked off. And a marker down at the line of scrimmage. Randy Robbins almost took it away.
That was actually a good job by Nelson, as we see
on the field.
The Chargers were called for holding. Nelson does a good job of batting the ball away, or else Robbins has an interception. He became the DB in that situation. Robbins shaken up a little bit on his hands and knees.
Billy Joe throwing well. 12 of 20 for 102 yards.
Holding. 67 offense. First down.
Leo Goaz, the rookie left tackle, number 67 from Hawaii, called for the hold.
Your body's not used to doing this sort of thing unless you're Baryshnikov. But Baryshnikov never had to catch a ball and land on his shoulder. Right there, that not only discombobulates your body, it knocks the wind out of you, and that's painful. That could be a shoulder pointer right there for Randy Robbins.
Or landing on the ball, which can be just about as bad. A rock.
You know, he's never been a starter for the Broncos in his career, but he's done an outstanding job of coming in the nickel situations, a terrific special teams player, and a great all-around player for the Broncos. He's an example of the type of role players that are effective now in the National Football League, the type of players that don't get the notoriety because they're non-stars, but they're very vital to the success of the team.
Kick off your night at NBC and help Salva Minstry on a special in the recent weeks. San Diego with 22 new players this year. 22 who weren't here last year, and down goes Billy Joe Tolliver, first sack. The man who got him was Simon Fletcher, who's on a sack roll. He had 4 last week against the Vikings. He has 9 for the season.
Well, that's the first sack that the line has given up in 3 games.
Talk about speed in pro football. Simon Fletcher runs about 4.5, and he's 6'6", 240.
The part of Thompson, that's the first sack, as we mentioned, that's been allowed by the Charger offensive line in the last 3 games.
He's got to unload now, Billy Joe. 2nd and 27. Rips it downfield, and it skips through the hands of his intended receiver, Anthony Miller, who has been held to 1 catch today. Wyman Henderson defending there. 3rd and 27 arises with just 32 seconds left in the half.
Chargers have to be careful here. You have a mindset during the 2-minute warning that at the beginning you say, okay, we're going for the score. Now, as a result of the holding penalty and the sack, they're on their own 40-yard line now, and with 3rd and about 26, 27 to go, they've got to be careful here. I wouldn't be surprised if they just run the ball.
Giants continue to lead at halftime now at Anaheim over the Rams, 10-0, and the Packers rallying from behind lead the LA Raiders 16-13. It is a 7-6 game here. Denver on defense with the lead. Oliver blows the ball downfield. A connection is made at a 31-yard line.
Billy Joe should call timeout right here. He's got the official right next to him.
$29-yard gain, and Billy Joe legally bounces the ball off the turf to stop the clock with 13 seconds left. How many plays can they get now?
Well, they can get 2 more plays in, but that costs them about 10 seconds, and they do have 2 timeouts left. I think he'd have been better advised to pull Greer aside and call timeout right there, because he could have saved the energy of the players, got them in the huddle, and organized themselves, come to the sidelines, and have what they want for the next 2, in this case, possibly 3 plays.
Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator of the Broncos, lamenting yesterday the big plays the defense has given up this year, and that was a big play near the end of the first half.
Well, Terry McEwen just gets in a seam. You know, they're in a kind of prevent too deep situation, and that was a great job, a great catch by McEwen, because he knows he's going to get hit. He comes up with a great play there and a nice touch throw by Tolliver.
Kip Corrington popped him. Now they go to a draw, and Ronnie Harmon takes it up the middle and gets down to the 25-yard line. It'll be a 42-yard field goal from here with 7 seconds left.
It's a strange collection of events right there. I don't understand that. And a lot of that,
he lost time, there's no question.
You have to attribute that to the inexperience of Tolliver. He's a little bit confused. They make the play. He turns right around. Should have called timeout. He'd had 25 seconds left. Now they have no choice. They have to kick the field goal.
Tell you, Coach Reeves is heating up over there. We might have to suit him up in the second half. It's ready to play. Harney, 2 for 2 for the day. 11 of 12 for the season. This will be a 42-yard attempt. He had 17 yards down to the line of scrimmage. Normal hold is 7 yards back. And then, of course, 10 yards into the end zone. So this is from the snap will be from the 25. Or actually, with a holding the ball, it's going to be 43 yards. Natural turf field. Ball is on the way, and it's right there. And he delivers with 3 seconds left. And the Chargers take the lead.
Dan Reeves is fit to be tied. Boy, is he upset. That big play, that big pass play has got him upset. I think one of the things that coaches do, you know, they have that prevent defense. You come up 3rd and 27. The last thing you're thinking about is there's absolutely no way they're going to get a first down, and they get it. That drives a coach crazy. We should make a point here, John Carney. You know, at the beginning of the season, the Chargers had Fuad Revez. He went 2 for 7, and it was time to get rid of him, and Carney has come in and done an outstanding job. He's now 12 for 13 kicking field goals. He's been a real godsend for the Chargers.
You can tell who hit the field goal, which side got it and which side didn't, is Coach Reeves very upset with that big play that set it up. The kickoff will end the first half. In all probability, Carney will bounce the ball down the field. Blake Ezor is back deep now, along with Kevin Clark. Ezor, running back from Michigan State.
You know, as we sit here and we take a look at Dan Reeves, he talked about his competitive nature, and people were talking about the rumors about him moving upstairs, and he said to us, he said, Don and Todd, there's nothing else that I find that gives me that satisfaction. I know the losses are tough, and it's tough right now when we're 3 and 5, but the satisfaction is immense. I'm coaching to the year 2000. You can tell right there that the man's competitive fire is still burned.
They burn hot, and the fire's been fanned today as the Chargers have now come and taken the lead. Mel Bratton runs it back, and he'll be knocked down at he tries a lateral. John Carney, who hit 3 of 3 field goal attempts to give San Diego the lead, kicks off. A line drive, well hit downfield. Into the end zone it goes to Kevin Clark. And standout special teams play by the Chargers, and a penalty marker down. They get their good people in there. Junior Seau is down on the tackle. He's slow getting up.
It's tough carrying around those big arms, like you said, Bob.
Yeah. He's got them.
You got to give Larry Pasquale credit. He's got them playing some terrific football in the special teams.
Dan Reeves now in his 10th year.
32 on the return. First down.
Mel Bratton got caught again. Legal block. Gets expensive.
You know, I find it interesting that, you know, in the old days, Don, you know, they just put out your subs out there to do the special teams.
Yeah.
Make sure you preserve your starters. But special teams are much more important now. And you can see people like Junior Seau and Melvin Bratton are key cogs in the special teams.
Beautiful play fake by Elway, and he swings it out to his tight end. Clarence Kay back in good health, running hard and out across the 25-yard line. A 19-yard gain, so Elway gets his team out of jail with a terrific play fake that leads to a first down throw.
That's a great call by Dan Reeves. This misdirection play, it's the counter boot is what it's called. And everybody has it in their repertoire. But Denver had not used it in the first half. Billy Ray Smith has to cover Clarence Kay. Clarence Kay is going to block down and then run out. Everybody assumes it's going the other direction. Elway comes out. Billy Ray cannot keep up with Clarence Kay, hence the big game.
Humphrey on a first down carry is taken down by Leslie O'Neal. Across the defensive front of the Chargers, Lee Williams, Les Miller is the nose tackle, Bert Grossman the right end. Linebackers, Billy Ray Smith, Gary Plummer, Junior Seau, and Leslie O'Neal. The corners are Gil Byrd and Sam Seal. The X-Raider, Martin Bayless and Bensie Glenn are the safeties in the base defense. It's a lot of substitutions made. Down in yardage dictating as the game changes quickly on both sides of the ball. Second down and 6 for Elway. Throw and a catch. You can do it no better as John Elway with a perfect lead throw. A hard thrown ball, and Mark Jackson. The ball was thrown low to elude defenders. Good for a 15-yard gain on the catch.
Well, it's a slant route here by Mark Jackson. Sammy Seal is playing him outside in, which obviously for a slant route isn't going to work. Wide open in the middle of the field. He preserves himself, goes down before he takes the shot from Bensie Glenn. As a wide receiver, you have to be concerned with self-preservation in the middle of the field.
Mobley, who had the injured ankle, X-ray, are being taken. He'll not return, at least in the second half. Here is a handoff to Humphrey as he's across midfield on first down, tackled by Martin Bayless, the strong safety for San Diego.
This is reminiscent of the first drive the Broncos had in the first half. You know, they got the ball, they were cold, or maybe it was the San Diego defense that was cold, and they marched right down the field. They've already gone, they started at their own about 5-yard line. They've gone 45 yards so far.
Reeves said of this game, we're starting over. We've got to battle and hope somehow we can fight our way in as a wild card. We're almost too far back to win the division by any chance. The good thing, though, is that our team isn't down. They're playing hard every down of every game. And now on 2nd down and 4, there's a gain of maybe 1.5 yards by Bobby Humphrey. Tackled by O'Neal.
You know, he mentioned to us, and everybody's aware of the fact that the injury problems have plagued the Broncos throughout this season. But the Orson Mobley injury magnifies what he told us yesterday, and that was not so much the fact that they couldn't prepare for the injuries that happened, but they kept happening right in the middle of the game. And so here's a situation where Denver relies a lot on their cheap tight end offense to get the running game going. And now with Mobley out, they have to use Chris Verholtz, who hasn't played much during the season.
He's been activated at tight end, Chris Verholtz. 3rd down and less than 3. Elway from the gun against the blitz. He's in trouble, and he's down. Grossman got him. And Billy Ray.
Leslie O'Neal makes the play, though. He comes from the side, and Elway sees him right away, and that's what made him come up to enable Billy Ray Smith to get the sack. Here comes Billy Ray from the outside. O'Neal forces him out of the pocket right there, and Billy Ray gets the remains.
And Haran hits the punt downfield. Nate Lewis fair catching the ball for San Diego at the Chargers' 24-yard line. 31-yard punt. So San Diego is set to go on offense for the first time in the second half when we return. With Todd Christensen at San Diego. Chargers with the ball and a 9-7 lead. Opening drive for the Chargers in the second half. Butts, the NFL's leading rusher, powers his way across the 25-yard line. And he'll be taken down. The spot will be at about the 27. Marion Butts, 6'1", 248 pounds in his second year from Florida State. 7th round draft choice. A blocking back in college for Bobby Bowden. The NFL's premier runner this season. Part of that big back attack that's so prevalent throughout the league. Okoye at Kansas City.
Chargers aren't a very old team, as you can see right there. Only 2 players over the age of 30. And there are 22 new players on the roster this year. Dan Henning has done a good job of meshing this group. You can't have that kind of turnover every year, but he's done a good job. 22 out of the 45 this year are new to the San Diego Chargers.
They go back to the run. This is Ronnie Harmon on 2nd down. 2nd and 7. He's close, but just short of a first down. Inside backer Mark Munford got him for Denver.
You know, the minute that he goes in for Marion Butts, the defense for the Broncos assumes, well, they're going to throw. And the drop play has been very effective. Look at the numbers for Ronnie Harmon. He's not doing too bad today either.
Harmon and the Buffalo Bills parted ways. He was the guy that had that pass carrying him off his fingertips in the closing seconds at Cleveland last January, an AFC divisional playoff game. Then went Plan B, and Bobby Beathard picked him up. He's made some very good Plan B acquisitions, as have the Bills. That's one of the reasons they're so good this year.
Well, and he did a lot of good things for the Bills. It's very unfair that he has to be remembered for that one drop. It reminds me a little bit of Jackie Smith, who had a terrific career with the Cardinals, but is always remembered for that drop in the Super Bowl with the Cowboys.
Chargers get the first down. John Kidd, the Charger punter, is also a Plan B acquisition from Buffalo. As we check the Hertz 10-minute ticker, winners in the earlier games, Miami, Buffalo, and Seattle on a last-second touchdown throw. The Bears won again. They go to 8-1. Indianapolis was a winner at New England. The Vikings beat the Lions at Pontiac, Michigan. New Orleans destroyed Tampa Bay, a team sinking fast. Giants continue to lead the LA Rams 17-7, and the Green Bay Packers up on the favored Raiders at Los Angeles by a field goal, but they're still in the 3rd quarter. Marion Butts is the setback. They play fake to him. Oliver stands in, throws downfield, makes the connection for a first down. Quinn Early from Iowa comes off the flank, running the post pattern for an 18-yard gain.
The Chargers have been waiting a long time to see who is going to be the wide receiver who's going to assert himself on the other side of Anthony Miller. Quinn Early made a big touchdown catch last week against the Seattle Seahawks, and there he goes down and makes a nice catch in the middle of the field. Either Early or Walter Wilson have to assert themselves because teams continue to double-team Anthony Miller game in and game out. And if one of these young receivers can make the plays, and they can take a little bit of the pressure off of Billy Joe and Anthony Miller.
Chargers at 4-5. They've not been to the playoffs since the '82 season. Butts is taken down. Nicely done by defensive end Ron Holmes, number 90.
Ron Holmes is a holdout this year. You know, they're throwing around a lot of big money to defensive linemen around the league, and since he had led the team in sacks last season, he felt that he was due a little bit of a raise. Well, they came to kind of a tenuous agreement, but Ron Holmes came into camp at about 30 pounds overweight. And both Dan Reeves and Wade Phillips were telling us yesterday that he is just now rounding into shape.
Up front with Warren Powers, Greg Cragen, a very underrated nose tackle, and Wade Phillips, the man who designs the defense. Son of Bum Phillips, who's watching today in Houston, Texas. Bum now broadcasting a very good one for the Oilers on the radio. Second down carry as the ball is taken ahead to about the original line of scrimmage. It was a second down and 12 play. Butts ran. Cragen made the stop.
Number 51, Mark Lundberg.
Cragen's quick, 71, not big as defensive nose tackles go.
Well, Cragen does a good job. Right here you can see he takes on two blockers and stuffs it, and as a result Mumford can come up and make the play, as does Cragen. I think one of the big matchups today is Cragen and a rookie center for the Chargers by the name of Frank Cornish. Very tough to come into the National Football League and start as a rookie in the offensive line because of the numerous intricacies of the position.
Bart Oates at Buffalo, their Pro Bowl center, said Cragen's as tough as any nose tackle he faces. Oliver has a problem, gets it away, and is incomplete. Mecklenburg, who's wearing 97 today because they didn't bring his regular 77 jersey. And it's going to be ruled a sack, apparently, as Mecklenburg had Billy Joe in the grasp.
I guess this is one of those deals where you got to get 5 Pro Bowls, not 4. Here's Carl Mecklenburg coming up the field, does a good job with the arm over on Goaz, right past him a little bit too quick. And I've always said before, I'm not a fan of the in the grass, but if you got the rule, you got to call it. He certainly had Tolliver in the grass.
Mecklenburg, a Pro Bowl player for Denver 4 of the last 5 years. John Kidd hitting the ball well, has all season for San Diego. High punt. Ball turns over, high spiral. Fumble ball, and the marker down. Denver has the ball.
Donald Frank did not give him enough time. Donald Frank is going to be called for interference. That's a good call by the official. What happens is when you're the sprinter in that situation and you come down unencumbered, you're so excited to make the big hit on a guy that you don't get out of the way. And in that case, he didn't. Terrific hang time for John Kidd, almost too good, because that penalty is going to go against the Chargers.
The ref is now ready to make a pronouncement after a conclave down at the 5-yard line. Game clock stopped with 6 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the third quarter.
I don't know what the caucus is about, because you can see right here Frank gets in the way. Right there he puts his hand on him. You've got to call that. That's a good call if it goes against Frank. 15-yard penalty, and that hurts the Chargers.
And the live action, a draw play to Bobby Humphrey, but the Chargers read it all the way. Leslie O'Neal, number 91, runs it down. It'll be second down and 10. Last week, Denver lost a game to the Vikings when the Broncos never had a punt one time. That's rare.
Yeah, that is strange. You know, we were talking earlier about Larry Pasquale. That would have been at the 10-yard line, and one of the things that John Kidd has been effective in the past is he has led the AFC in punts inside the 20-yard line. So that was a very costly penalty for the Chargers.
Elway looks at a blitz alignment on second down and 11. Markers down as Elway looks to get out of jail and does. Out to the 33-yard line, but there are 2 markers down at the line.
He has an amazing innate sense. I thought for the life of me that Leslie O'Neal was going to get him, and he breaks just at the time when O'Neal's on his back. It's amazing.
Backfield in motion. This big rush of the Chargers forces that. They get so many people on the quarterback. They're forcing a lot of quick drops, maximum protection alignments by offenses.
Well, your offensive tackles start to lean back, Don. You know, they're so used to those guys coming, and they start to lean, and if the official picks it up, that's going to be a 5-yard penalty.
Illegal motion, 82 and 76 offense. Still second down.
A couple of guys in motion early. Vance Johnson might have been rolling early.
There's no excuse for that. I mean, he can look in and see the ball. In the case of Lanier on the other side, he doesn't have that luxury. But Johnson, that's a foolish mistake.
See the 30 QB sack so far this season for the San Diego defense. One today. Elway on second at 16. Intercepted. Gilbert gets his 6th interception of the season. He has 20 interceptions in the past 3 seasons, the most in the NFL, but a marker down again. Looks like a play is going to go. Denver defense is coming out.
You know, that 6th interception, he leads the NFL now in interceptions, and over the last 2 years has had 15.
3 interceptions. Defense. First down.
Gilbert has had more interceptions over the last 2 years than any cornerback in football, and he is now the career leader for the San Diego Chargers with 31 interceptions.
Now Tolliver loses the ball, but a teammate recovers. Marion Butts very alertly fell on the free ball as the Chargers almost gave it right back to the Broncos.
You know, getting back to Gilbert, you know, his off-season avocation is that he has a hair studio, and it's called Hair Studio 22.
Loss of 3 yards.
That kills the momentum a little bit right there. Heads up by Marion Butts. His
Hair Studio?
Hair Studio 22, which leads me to believe that I find it strange that he'd be playing with split ends on and off the field.
They style hair. We'll let you go on that. He's a hairstylist in the offseason then.
Yes, he is. He's the Jose A. Bear of San Diego.
You almost a big strike. Good D, though. Anthony Miller was going for the ball. Here's a marker down. Alton Montgomery almost intercepted, but apparently they're going to rule he interfered with the all-pro Miller.
This has to be the hardest call in football. And the reason I say that is because the body is in front. Now, if
22 defense. First down.
Now, Alton Montgomery can't go for the ball. Here's the body in front. Now, watch what he's going to do. He's going after the ball here. He's not trying to knock down Anthony Miller. He goes for the ball.
That's a tough call.
That's a tough call right there. Sure, they're going to mix up their feet. That's a tough call on Alton Montgomery, who really had pretty good coverage on Anthony Miller.
It goes as a 19-yard penalty. This kid has done a good job. He's a rookie from Houston, has 2 interceptions. A very difficult call. It goes against the Broncos, and the Chargers now have it 1st and 10, just outside the Denver 10-yard line. Butts goes boom and down to the 4.
I know Steve Atwater is a tough guy. He has 83 tackles this season, and he is one of, if not the best tacklers from the safety position in football, but he paid the price there. Look at the forearm that Marion Butts puts on Steve Atwater. Gets a good push. Now watch Steve Atwater come off. Wow! Take that. Ouch. That's one of those in the film where the offensive line go, yeah, Marion. Right there. Look at that forearm. 35 reminds me a little of somebody that you remember by the name of Hewitt Dixon of the Oakland Raiders, who used to throw that big forearm. And he wore 35 too.
He was a knockout runner. Hewitt Dixon. Here is number 35 of the Chargers. And he's cut by Alton Montgomery, and 3 markers fly in. Last week at Seattle, where the Chargers had not won in 10 years, it was a 7-7 game. Then they erupted for 28 unanswered points.
One of the major problems in the league this year by the teams that can't get over the hump is the inability to get it in the end zone once they're inside the 20-yard line. 3 flags came out at the same time, and it seemed pretty blatant, and my guess it was probably the tight end.
Holding. 89 and 78 offense. Still second down.
Rookie Derek Walker, one of the people called for holding. Joel Patton, 78, was the other. So the ball is now positioned at the 15-yard line. Second down. Denver throws the out to Marion Butts, who they've been throwing to more and more, and he goes out of bounds at about the 14-yard line. Looked good, but it gained less than a yard.
Don, you're on the 15-yard line. You got second and goal, and everybody knows you're going to throw the ball. So why do you only have one wide receiver in the game? They had their 2 tight ends and their 2 backs, and they only had Anthony Miller on the field. That's not putting enough pressure on the secondary of the Broncos.
Check the late scores again with the Hertz 10-minute ticker. 3:39 to play here in the third quarter at San Diego. Look at the scores after this play. Third down arises. Third down and goal. Chargers with a 9-7 lead. And no scoring in the second half. Here comes the rush. Oliver stands in and overthrows Cox, who is wide open. That's been a problem with Tolliver's head. Gets a little too much on some of the touch passes. That might have gone for 6, and he got it to Arthur Cox.
Well, third down and 15, you know what they're going to do. Denver's going to backpedal a zone into the end zone and defy them to score and throw underneath. Tolliver has so much time to throw that he dumps off, in this case, to Walker, but he overthrows him. He was just a little bit too excited to get him the ball.
And McEwentown was wide open in the end zone over the middle. Now John Carney comes back out, who's been perfect today and almost perfect for the season. Getting 12 of 13. And now 13 out of 14. He drills 4 today to give them a 12-7 lead.
Up in the middle there to get a couple. Ricky Ellison met him in the middle of the pile.
Fred, earlier we were talking about statements, and you know, the Raiders had a nice little defensive stand, and then they got the ball back. Well, now the situation is kind of reversed. Green Bay made a nice defensive stand, and what are they going to do here in this situation offensively? See those eyes of Ricky Ellison, a linebacker, number 50 for the Raiders. A little scary, isn't it?
Yeah. All the great years with the 49ers and now a Raider.
Golick told us, Bob Golick told us he's trying to get him committed last week out on the field.
As you saw, the Packers have mixed it up beautifully. They've evened up the run and the pass today. They appear to be in a passing situation here, but that's not the case. It's Haddix on the sweep, and he's got the first down. Tough run by Michael Haddix, who's having a big day. Tackle made by Terry McDaniel over on the corner.
We have been keeping an eye on Tony Mandrich. Now watch him. He'll be on the left side of your screen, number 77, this time on the pull. And what does the big guy do downfield? He gets one of those little defensive backs down there. Come on, roll him up, Tony. He did enough to get his man out of the way. What he wants to stand up there and run over that guy, though. Tony's very capable of running over someone.
Mandrich at about 298. He can get in the way, that's for sure.
Not guesswork.
At the Raider 47. Draw play this time, and that one stopped. Loss on the play. Greg Townsend has had a remarkable afternoon from his defensive end spot.
Get the facts on NBC Nightly News Wednesday.
Gilbert does a terrific job of anticipating John Elway. Right here, he has man-for-man coverage, but when Elway starts to roll right, he's going to come back into the middle of the field right here. John Elway is in love with his arm, and he's rolling to his right. He's going to throw across his body, and Bird sees that and cuts right in front for an easy interception. This is what happens when you have a great arm, folks. You think that you can throw it through anything. He's throwing it across his body, fading to the right. He throws to the left and pays the price, not only in taking the shot.
And now the Chargers go to possession offense. As Henning said yesterday, one of the times you have to run is when you have the lead. You've got to run the clock. That'll take it down close to the end of the third quarter. Denver, after taking a 7-0 lead early in the first quarter, has now been outscored 12-0.
Well, the Chargers had 15 interceptions heading into this game, and now and they were second in the NFL, so I guess that might put them over the top, and Gilbert is having a field day.
The Giants have scored again at Anaheim, and they now lead the Rams 24-7. Ready for the start of the fourth quarter. We'll be back after the side of the ball. When Denver gets it, he can make it happen fast. But on the Broncos' last 2 drives, he's been intercepted by Gilbert. Hand off to Butts. Boom goes the big man. Off and running, upended finally by Dennis Smith. Dennis Smith gets him, but he gets him 23 yards downfield.
And you notice Smith is still down. Boy, he had a head of steam. That 248-plus pounds is coming at him. Smith is hurt. Great job by the offensive line right there, opening the gap. Butts cuts to the outside. Here you have Smith coming right there and just throw his body in there. Look at the reaction he has. Marion Butts gets turned on his head, sure, but I'll tell you what, Dennis Smith is the one paying the price right here. Right on his head on that knee. Ouch. Smith had to collect his senses after that one.
Roddy Harmon now in the game, and he gets the ball. Harmon, who doesn't have the huge size and tackle-breaking power, tries to deal with a juke move, but he's cut down after a gain of 3. Warren Powers and Michael Brooks are on the stop for the Broncos. Denver goes home to Mile High to take on the very hot Chicago Bears, an 8-1 football team next Sunday. And Reeves' old friend Mike Ditka coming to town. They were coaches together with the Dallas Cowboys. Denver Broncos move on to Kansas City, where the Chiefs will be in ill humor, beaten on the last play of the game today at Arrowhead by a touchdown throw by Dave Craig of Seattle, losing 17-16 to the Seahawks. Second down and 7. Oliver throws a hard ball. It's taken in by Anthony Miller.
What a catch.
Only great. 19 yards on the play.
That's a frozen rope thrown by Billy Joe Tolliver, and he catches that ball in his hands.
Coverage is good.
We mentioned in the first half that they should isolate Miller on Montgomery, and now they're doing it. A big interference play, and now only the second reception for Anthony Miller, but he reaches out and makes the catch knowing that he's going to get hit by Montgomery.
The way this game is going, if the Chargers get a 5th field goal and go up by 8 points, it could be the knockout punch. Denver would need 2 scores to win.
And then you and I could argue for the 2-point conversion again, right?
Yeah. Coaches don't want it in the NFL. That's why it's not here. Here's a throw downfield. Miller. This time he works on Wyman Henderson at the right corner. And it's a 14-yard gain.
There's a certain point at which the defensive back has to get out of his back pedal and turn around. Take a look at Wyman Henderson. He's in his back pedal. Now he turns around, he thinks he's going to run, and Anthony Miller comes back to the ball like a good receiver and makes the reception. That's tough when you're isolated on an island like that, which Wyman Henderson was. He can't decide when to get out of the back pedal or when not to, and somebody like Miller definitely scares the cornerbacks in this league.
Oliver 16 for 17 throwing the ball for 173 yards and no interceptions again. Arthur Cox in the game. He leads the blocking for Marion Butts, who is, in addition to being a great power runner, he's a fumble-free football player. Rarely does he cough it up.
Butts, the ball carrier.
As we check the Xerox 10-minute ticker, Giants taking command now of the Rams in a major development at the LA Coliseum, where the underdog Packers are beating the Raiders by 10 points in the 4th quarter. This division is still very much up for grabs. If Henning's team can win today, they'll go to 5-5. With 4 wins in the last 5 games. Coach Dan Reeves, he hasn't been to the Super Bowl since last January. He hasn't been too bad, has he? 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. They look a long way from it now. As Marion Butts runs the ball inside the 10 and down to the 6. First down, Chargers. First and goal.
Marion Butts is a strong runner, but one of the things that he is not so effective with is his vision. If he could have cut to the outside, take a look right here. They do a good job coming off the ball. Look at Arthur Cox, the job he does on Fletcher, just pushing him out to the side and giving him a big gap. Now watch what he does right here. He just lowers his head and cuts straight ahead. If he cuts to the outside, he gets outside of Montgomery for the touchdown. Good job by that offensive line of the Chargers today.
Roderick Thompson and Leo Goaz are tackles. Courtney Hall and Dave Richards, the guard. Rookie Frank Cornish is the center. As the Chargers power it out, they go back to the big back. This time the Denver Broncos are there to get him.
And
I saw Tolliver at practice yesterday. I said, boy, you're going good. No interceptions in 4 games. He said, you had to say it. We look at the standings now. He's going 5 games without interception.
Okay.
Denver now at the bottom, a rare place for the Broncos. The Raiders appearing on their way unless they make a comeback, down by 10 in the 4th quarter. They would go to 6-3. Dan Reeves has won over 62% of his games in 10 years at Denver. Check the record book. That is outstanding. Butts to the goal line. Third down comes up, third down and goal, and you get the feeling, Todd, we can all call the play.
Yeah, I'd say so. If they went to a play-action pass right now, I'd be the most surprised guy in the stadium.
Marion Butts.
Butts already over 100 yards, and he missed a quarter and a half. You wonder what kind of yards you would have racked up if they'd have started him. And you know what? He told us, Don. He told us yesterday. He says, I'm going to play. I'm fine. And still, Henning held him out for the first quarter and a half.
Butts the I-back. Plummer in as a blocking back. Here comes a lead blocker, McEwen. They could go right. Up the middle they go, and it's a touchdown to Gary Plummer, a linebacker.
Got to work on that spike. Don't tell me that isn't a lineman or linebacker's dream. Refrigerator Perry has paved the way for a lot of the non-runners to get in the end zone.
So linebacker Plummer's in the end zone. Strange things are happening. The Chargers are in command. Here's rocking as the Chargers are rolling. They are up 19-7. A team much maligned, has not been to the playoffs since the '82 season, appears to be coming of age. Downfield the kick goes, and Blake Ezor from Michigan State looks for room to run, and he doesn't find it. Thrown back at the 10-yard line. Henry Rawling got him. Number 57.
There you see Gary Plummer, who scored the last.
Now he's in between the line. This guy, a two-way player. We're looking for a raise. Here's a quick out going to Clarence Kay. Dennis Mnuchin, our NBC statistician, pointing out that Denver's gained only 74 yards now that play since the touchdown drive on the first possession when they went 66 yards.
So does that make Gary Plummer the Gordy Lockbaum of the Chargers?
Does it all.
Interestingly enough, Steve Hendrickson, who is a linebacker, has moved over. He wore number 56. Now he wears number 34 for the Chargers. He switched over because of the injuries to their tight ends. He's now an H-back.
Second down and 3 for John Elway and the Broncos. Humphrey hit hard, but drives on. He's close to a first down and appears to have one. Bert Grossman made the tackle. Broncos need 2 touchdowns, and they haven't a lot of time to get it the way the game is moving. We have 7:55 to play in the fourth quarter. Perfect day in Southern California. It was 80 degrees and sunny at kickoff. A bit cloudy now as the sun sets. The lights are on at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium, and the Chargers are on too. At the top of their game. Elway, nice catch made. Vance Johnson, who scored the touchdown in this game for Denver, is hit out of bounds. That's got to bring a flag. Finally.
Now, why does it bring a flag from the third official? That's what I don't understand. They had 2 officials standing on the sidelines, and the third one coming in from the middle of the field throws the flag.
They buckled him, though, the way he was hit.
I'm not debating as to whether or not the thing should have been called. It's the fact that someone had to come clear from the other side of the field and make it. He's out of bounds a long ways right there. There's no reason for him to have been pushed. He was clear beyond, not only just out of bounds, but beyond the white stripe. Okay, he's clearly out of bounds. His momentum can be held up. There.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Defense. Late hit out of bounds.
You can see right there that Martin Bayless shakes hands with Vance Johnson and says, hey, it wasn't that big a deal. I really didn't mean to hurt you. It's just a drag route across the field trying to get underneath the zone.
Way late, though. Way late.
Well, there's a clip right there by Verholtz that they missed.
Yeah. If you look hard enough, you can find something everywhere in this crazy game. Here we go now with Elway. On 1st and 10, nice loop throw. He gets Mel Bratton, who's not having a great day, but he does get 8 there. 2 holding penalties by Bratton on blocking assignments have cost the Broncos. Now let's look at the Xerox ticker with 6:58 to play here at San Diego.
couple of 8 yards.
As we look at all the games, Miami win, or so was Buffalo. Seattle winning at Kansas City. Chicago won to go 8-1. Indianapolis beat New England. Minnesota won. New Orleans routed Tampa Bay. Giants are doing the same, routing the Rams, and the Packers with a substantial lead over the favored Raiders of Los Angeles. Elway on the run. Grossman after him. He gets it away somehow in the general vicinity. It's a clean pass, incomplete, but not grounding.
Now this is interesting. Are you telling me that he didn't throw that ball away? Don, you and I both know
But he
that
did
he was
illegal,
throwing
sure.
that ball away. Now the official has to decide whether or not there's somebody in the vicinity. Grossman doing a good job of pursuing him right here. Now watch the look on his face. He's just getting rid of that ball. He's not trying to complete it.
Hey, these big linemen for the Chargers, they got to make people nervous. I mean, they're huge and they fly.
Well, you know, you take a look at Bert Grossman. We've been talking a lot about Leslie O'Neal today and Junior Seau.
Yeah, it's something else.
Bert Grossman has 17 sacks in the last 18 games, which is the most in the National Football League. You're right. They have a lot of people that can come after you.
They're really tough up front. Elway is sacked that time. He's getting it at the 48. Safety blitz. Donnie Elder got him.
Loss of 4 yards. This season, it came under the Chargers defense. And Sport Boy Scouts of San Diego recording the Chargers.
Broncos call a timeout with 6:13 left to play. Trying to regroup against an onslaught. The Charger defense ignited and really coming at Elway.
He's just going to come right here, unblocked. And he's going to get the big sack right here. He's got Humphrey in coverage. He takes the chance, and he gets away with it. If you do it, the coach says, great play. If you don't, you're in trouble.
Elway on 4th down. Makes the throw, and he gets the first down connection to Michael Young. So the Broncos get a play they absolutely had to have as the clock runs inside 6 minutes to play. And the Chargers lead the game 19-7.
Elway showed a lot of poise in there. You know, he has been harassed. It isn't just the sacks. It's that he's had to hurry his throws. He hung in there. Young did a good route and got the first down.
Denver first down at the Chargers 42.
Broncos have to keep throwing to try to pull this out. Long ball. Man has to step on the defense. It's off his fingertips. Mark Jackson. Gil Bird with 2 interceptions. Number 22 was covering on the play. He's had 7 interceptions the last 3 seasons. No telling how many he'll get this year. 7 already.
He's having a good year, and that was pretty good coverage there. A nice throw by Elway, but just off the fingertips.
21 INTs in 3 seasons, well over 30 for a Charger record during his 8-year career.
You know, Gil Bird used to play some strong safety, which I find interesting. Very rarely do you make the transition from strong safety to corner, but he's done it.
Elway from the gun, throwing on the run, and it's lost at the 32-yard line. Natil had it, but the pop knocked it free. Anthony Shelton hit him. Number 23.
Nice play by Anthony Shelton. Elway has to be frustrated. He steps up in the pocket, does an outstanding job. Natil needs to hold on to this ball. He cuts underneath. It's his zone. They're playing soft. They don't want to give up the big play. Right in his hands. Shelton does a good job knocking it free, even though it appeared that Natil didn't exactly have the handle.
Natil has been troubled by knee problems the past couple of seasons. He has sensational ability when he can go full speed. They need to get deep now. 3rd down. Here's a throw and a catch. And they go to Ricky Natil. He's just short of the first down. So again, 4th down arises for the Broncos at a time they have to score.
Well, the Chargers are being a little bit predictable here defensively. They're back into the exact same zone, and Elway knew it, and he called the exact same route and got the catch.
Elway with a quarterback keep on 4th down and 2 gets the first down.
That's some real heads-up football. The Chargers didn't have a chance to get their regular defensive players on the field. Elway came up, and he just touches the center's butt and says, give me the ball. He gets 5 yards on a quarterback sneak, for goodness sakes.
A marvelous competitor, John Elway, against all odds, trying to bring the Broncos back. This one's low. It stops the clock with 4:35 to play in the game.
Pass incomplete, intended for
Dan Reeves. Excuse me, Todd.
It's all right. Elway has been in this situation before. I read something that was very interesting. The people that have the reputation for great comeback quarterbacks, people like Roger Staubach and Joe Montana, strangely enough, 17% of the times John Elway has brought his team back in the victories that he's had as a quarterback for the Broncos, rather. He has brought them back 17% of the time, which is more than those other two quarterbacks.
Very interesting. And now they go to the run, and there's an open field tackle made by Vincey Glenn, number 25. He put down Humphrey when it looked like he might go a long way. Dan Reeves checking a computer printout of tendencies, what to go to now on down and yardage. An offensive specialist out of the Cowboy system.
Well, this is a good call here. You throw a number of times and you know that the defensive linemen are coming, and you take advantage of that. He only has to beat the one guy, but Glenn makes a terrific play coming up and knocking Humphrey down. Ouch.
What a catch by Michael Young. He might take it in. Young is down to the 1-yard line with 3:47 to play. 25-yard gain on the catch of the day.
That's just a situation of Sammy Seal just being a little bit lazy. Okay, he makes the catch. You got to touch him while he's down. Touch him. Instead, he doesn't touch him. He's able to get up and get the extra yardage.
Now the Broncos go down to their last timeout as John Elway wants to make sure they get it right as they're down 1st and goal at the 1, but it's actually a San Diego timeout at this point as the Chargers want to get their defense together. Back in a moment.
An egregious error on the part of Sammy Seal to just let him get up. Why don't Sammy Seal just run past and not touch him? Michael Young heads up, gets the extra 20 yards, and almost gets it into the end zone.
Michael Young, a 60th receiver from UCLA, doesn't get the ball a lot, but obviously has great ability. And he brings the Broncos down close. They have to get in and then score another touchdown as the Charger defense digs in. Humphrey. No. Down at the 2. Lee Williams got him.
Don, not only is that a big play in terms of just preventing them from scoring, Denver might score here, but that's going to cost them about 30 seconds in time here. As you take a look at the clock and you watch it wind down, Denver goes back to the huddle. That prevents them. That's going to take some more time off the clock, which is good for the Charger defense.
Stadium's sold out. They've been up and cheering almost throughout. Elway with a play fake, looks and throws. Bobbled and lost. It is not good. Verhulst had it, but they really bobbled it on the way out. That brings up 3rd down and goal.
One of the things that's happening with the Broncos is they're so conscious of the time. They're coming up and they're in too big of a hurry. Verhulst makes a nice job. Here he bobbles it a little bit. There he's not in bounds yet. Good call by the official. They need to get this touchdown, obviously, but they can't be so concerned with the clock. Now at 3rd and 2, because of the clock situation, you'd think that Denver is going to be forced into a passing situation. And I think that the Chargers should alter their defense accordingly.
Game clock stopped, as you see in the lower right-hand corner. 2:56 to play in it. Don Criqui with Todd Christensen as the Denver Broncos try to come back.
Verhulst stretches out right there, and he has the ball, but right there you can see not only is the 1 foot not in, it's dragging. He doesn't have complete control of the ball. He was so wide open. Once again, the quarterback trying to lead him perfectly. There's no one around Verhulst. He doesn't have it. Good call by the official.
Here come the Broncos. A lot of times in the past, if it's a little deeper than this down close, Elway will call a quarterback draw, but it's just too jammed up to go to that. Looks like they're going to run right. Now they come motion the other way. Play fake. Elway looks. They get him at the 12-yard line.
Since 1985, Lee Williams has had the most sacks in the AFC with 57. He's been relatively quiet today, but that has to be one of the biggest sacks of his career right there.
Fourth down for Elway and the Broncos. They have to get it in. There's a throw. Incomplete. The Chargers take over the possession of the ball and the game. Times rolling in San Diego. It's been a while. Padres had an awful year. Chargers have been struggling, but they got the right people in place now. With Beathard comes great personnel. One of the acknowledged outstanding personnel experts in the NFL, Bobby Beathard, the general manager, and a coach that he believes in. And all of a sudden, the whole thing seems to be coming together. Butts runs it, and that's what the Chargers plan to do the rest of the way. As John Elway fights the good fight again, but the Broncos won't pull this one out. We'll be back in a moment with the Chargers in command. Horrendous, hellacious San Diego pass rush, which has had him under the gun all day. Hand off, then it'll take it down to the 2-minute warning. Actually, the Broncos that's very wise to do. They use their last timeout with 2:01. Then after the next play, they'll get another timeout. If they hold, that means they'll get the ball back on a punt.
Marion Butts is the guy to get the ball to. Only 2 fumbles and 349 carries.
Let's check off the score today. Miami goes to 8-1. Buffalo goes to 8-1. Seattle upset the Chiefs of Kansas City. Chicago goes to 8-1. Indianapolis beats New England. The Vikings hit the Lions and beat them 2 straight for Minnesota. New Orleans wins. The Giants routing the Rams at Anaheim. And Green Bay continues to lead the favored Raiders at Los Angeles. This telecast is presented by
Authorities throw the ball here and try to get the first down. If the clock's going to stop, there's no need to run it. Try and get the first down here at 3rd and 6.
They call on their money back, Marion Butts, and he responds with a first down carry. That nails the lid on. 2-minute warnings given, but the numbers are in. This one's over before it's over. And meanwhile, up to the north, the Raiders seem to be coming back to the field somewhat. They're en route. It appears to their 2nd straight loss and a 6-3 record. San Diego would go to 5-5 with a win today. Chargers did not have the bye week as a 5th place team last year. They get their week off in December. And the Broncos would fall to a very un-Bronco-like 3-6.
Well, if the Chargers end up 5-5 and indeed right, that's not going to happen. Almost, that's the reality of the National Football League. Dare I say it, on any given Sunday, right?
That's it. And on the final day of the season, Todd, as you know, the Chargers go to Los Angeles to play the Raiders. One of the Chargers' losses was to the Raiders. Raiders won here in October. December 30th, the concluding game for the Raiders and the Chargers is at the LA Coliseum.
You know, we just got to look at Billy Joe Tolliver. He was smiling. He's got to feel really good about himself. You know, you can talk about this is a big game or this is a big, and so many times you say that and it becomes so cliche. But for the Chargers to beat the defending AFC champions at home, that was a big win for the Chargers today.
Marion Butts started slowly, then came on strong with 114 yards. He continues as the NFL's leading rusher. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Coordinating producer of NFL football, John Faratzis. The producer of today's game, Terry Ewert. Director, Andy Rosenberg. We thank our NBC statistician, Dennis Mnuchin, our spotters, Jan Chapman Jr. and Steve Marshall, as John Elway, who's been on the winning end so many times in his 8-year career, looks on in disappointment as the Broncos come up short again. 5 of the last 6 the Broncos have lost. That will do it. The Chargers win for the 4th time in 5 games. Sam White early in the season said to me, this is the best looking team I've seen that doesn't know they're good. Well, now they're probably starting to believe they are. Congratulations are extended. Billy Joe Tolliver, now through 5 games and 121 passes, has not thrown an interception. And Dan Henning goes off the field a winner again. San Diego 19, Denver 7. Now let's go to New York and NFL Live with Bob Costas.